All right, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors from all around the automotive world, we are back with another
obstreperous episode of V8 Radio, Kevin.
I'm sorry, a what?
Obstreperous. It means to be rowdy, rambunctious, or noisy. And
Well-
that's actually and you're gonna tell us why that adjective fits for this episode here in a few minutes.
I'll tell you right now, my friend. Well, I am Kevin Oosty, your host, joined as always by our esteemed co-host, Mr. Mike Huball Clark. And what was the word again?
Obstreperous.
Obstreperous. I think I can, I'm not sure I hear that properly because our setting's a little bit different today. I'm actually coming to you from the setup of the SEMA show here in Las Vegas in the grand lobby. I'm standing here at the SEMA Central display desk where people are normally very helpful to other people throughout the SEMA week, but I'm just using this as a desk as they set up the show all around us. So you're going to hear some noise in the background, which lends to your word.
Absolutely. And you'll probably be hearing Kevin give directions throughout the show, so beware.
Yeah, people have been coming up and asking questions like I know what I'm doing here, which clearly I don't. But I will ask for pre-forgiveness on any sort of interruption that we get along the way. So,
Dig it. Hey, man, it's authentic live radio. I love it.
it's authentic live recorded radio. That's exactly right.
Live recorded radio.
Well, as a demonstration to my commitment to our enterprise here, I'm here at the SEMA show this week working, and it's funny because we're going to release this and the show will already be over because we're about a week behind. But
Right.
I was able to take a minute or two to step aside from my duties this week, and I wanted to get a show in. And this year, I've been fortunate enough to have a pretty cool access level, so I've been able to walk around and see things as the booths are being put together. And so I can't say I've seen the show yet because the show's not assembled yet, but it's close. We're recording this on the Sunday before it opens. It officially opens on Tuesday, so that gives you an idea. So there's a lot of action going on around me.
Yeah, I'm sure it's quite an obstreperous scene, and a lot of people moving from place to place trying to get things done.
Right, exactly. So for those who normally listen to our show, and if you've never heard this before, we usually start these off with a trivia question, which is a fun way to tease and aggravate our listeners. So have you prepared an automotive trivia question, Mr. Clark?
Indeed I have, Mr. Osty, and here we go. Okay, Kevin, when the SoCal Speed Shop is mentioned, typically an image of the SoCal Special Lakester will come into mind. And as most people know, the Lakester was made from the belly tank of an aircraft. But, Kevin, I ask you and our listener, from what aircraft was this belly tank procured from?
Wow, what a great question. Great question. And yes, it conjures up to me, the Alex Exidius coupe, or roadster, Lakester, I guess is the best way to say it, belly tanker. And I am an aircraft novice at best. I really like airplanes. I don't know jack about most of them. So this run really kind of kicks me in the cojones. And
Oh boy.
What I will tell you is that the limited knowledge I have about what we're talking is these were post-World War II airplanes because that's kind of when all this hot rodding got started. And a tank, to me, a tanker is added to a plane to increase its range, right? So what needs to fly far but bombers? So I'm going to guess that these are bomber tanks. Also because the hot rodders used bomber seats. They would take the aluminum seats out of bomber planes and bolt those into cars. They're lightweight. And of course the bomber jacket, and all went hand in hand. I'm going to say it was from a B-25 is my guess, which was
A B-25 bomber.
If I'm not mistaken, a prop plane, all bombers in World War II were essentially, right? The B-52, they're all props. And the reason why I'm going with B-25 is I've seen some pictures of what I think they were, and our friend Smokey Eunuch, who's one of the greatest hot rodders of all time, flew one in
right on.
World War II. So that's the formulating web of nonsense that I'm conjuring
Okay.
up for this week's trivia question answer.
It's a nice web. Very nice web.
Yeah, I'm stuck in it, so now you are too.
All right. So Kevin says B-25 bomber. All right. Duly noted, sir.
All right. Well, I'm gonna advance straight into the future, and I would do a SEMA trivia question, but the obvious one we've already done. What was the first year? And there's a million different ways to talk about SEMA. So because the show's not open, I can't say anything about it yet, as far as what's here. So I can't do that. So instead,
Right.
we're going to go to your second most favorite topic, and that is high performance Fords.
All right.
So high performance Fords for 100, Alex. Just how fast is the new 2020 Shelby GT500 quarter mile time and speed?
Ooh, how fast is the GT500?
And this is fresh off the press information, maybe a week and a half old at this point. So you might have seen something on social. The car is powered by a 5.2 liter V8 making 760 horsepower, if that gives you a thing you can calculate from if you don't know the answer. So give it a whirl.
Okay, Kev. I do think I saw a few things around the interwebs regarding the GT500 and how it is even quicker than the Dodge Hellcat. And I'm going to say, and the Hellcat will go, like, it's touted to go like 9.9, but I don't think anyone's ever gotten it to do that. But the GT500, I believe, will go 1033 at 140 miles an hour.
Wow, 10.33 seconds at 140 miles per hour.
Yes, sir.
Lofty, right there. That's cooking.
It is. It's a hell of a car. It's got it all. It really does.
All right. Well, your answer is noted.
Dig it.
I don't know if it's duly noted. I only noted it once, so it's not duly, right?
Not duly noted.
Is that what that means?
It's singularly noted, sir.
Right. You always duly note my questions. I don't know if they are written down a couple of times for backup.
Well, I got to make sure I get it right for you, so that's what I do.
Accuracy is not at the top of our list here at V8 Radio.
What are you talking about, man?
Much as we try.
This is a pro-level show.
It is a pro-level show, but the opinions and facts are not always representative of reality, so we...
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah. All right, well, right on.
Boy.
So here I am at SEMA, buddy, once again.
Yeah, I'm excited for you that, I know you're doing a few more things this year, and I'm kind of bummed that I wasn't able to attend this year. I would have loved to been hanging out with you and my buddy Ira and my other buddy Chip Foose.
That's right.
For the show, but that's okay. There's always next year. Maybe I'll make it then.
Well, I certainly hope so. I hope to be able to help that opportunity happen. You're an industry guy. You could have just called and showed up on your own.
I could, but what fun is that?
Yeah. Well, this is the 1-year anniversary of your unwashed hand, isn't it?
It is. And I think I need to see a doctor about this. Mm-hmm. Things are just getting out of hand, so to speak.
Yeah, well, you don't need medication because it's just going to fall off by itself, so don't worry
Pretty
about
much.
it.
Yeah, it's already turning black and all that, so it's no circulation anymore.
Maybe that's why SEMA decided not to send you a badge this year.
That could be, yeah. My rambunctious, obnoxious behavior with Chip Foose.
Well, it's been an interesting year for us at V8 Speed and Resto and at V8 TV because we've expanded quite a bit this past year, and a lot of things are being developed as far as what's going on. So, how you doing, bud? Good to see you, brother.
Are you being taken care of at Riyadh?
Totally, 100%.
Cool. Let me know what you need.
You got it. Thank you. All right, so sorry about the predicted interruption.
Right.
But just was greeted by Mr. Bud Brutzman, who is the producer of favorite shows like Overhaulin' and some of the other big ones you've
right
seen on Discovery and other networks.
Sure.
Yeah. He just walked past and said hello. So, hello from Bud.
Right. Well, how you doing, Bud?
Yeah, I'll tell him he said hi.
Right on.
So where were we? So we went through a lot, and we tried to bring some of our team out here every year to the show. And this year, things are just so different with the way the shop's running, and our ability to be able to send the team that we scaled back quite a bit for no real other reason of logistics and having the financial resources to bring everybody. But we've already got a plan in place for next year where we think we're going to offer a bit of a savings program for the guys on our crew, to where they could set aside. We might be able to set aside a few bucks out of their check every week, and then a year from now they'll have money to go and done, right?
Oh, cool. Right on.
Yeah. So, yes, this year it's just Kelly and I kind of flying solo, and but that doesn't mean we've got any less to do. This is a huge year for me personally, which I'm just so fortunate and blessed to have the opportunities that I've been afforded. So doing a lot of work for SEMA this year, the whole week, and just came from some rehearsals on some of the stuff, and really just still kind of blown away that I can do this, and especially as I stand here and look around and see the people that are actually working, and they're actually building displays, and they've actually done a lot. And my role is primarily host and MC, which to me, just because I for whatever reason it doesn't feel like work, it's fun for me. So again, it's just icing on the cake. So.
Well, yeah, you're hosting the big SEMA reveal tomorrow as well, like as you've done in the past, correct?
Yes, yeah, super looking forward to that. The SEMA reveal is a special event that I was fortunate enough to be the first guy to ever host this thing. The first time they ever did it was involving me, and what it is, if you haven't seen or heard anything on it, the reveal is fun because as the show is being finished off on the assembly side and booths are being polished up and everybody's kind of finished, the team at SEMA decided it'd be really cool to bring in a handful of the higher profile vehicles and run them across a stage before they go into the show, because they were going to go into the show no matter what, so let's not make a little spectacle out of it, And they have lined up a handful of, I think we've got nine vehicles this year, and there's a live band and a stage, and I'm in a tuxedo, and it's very red carpet, and the whole thing. And the other component of the SEMA reveal is that it's a big thank you, because it also encompasses the exhibitor appreciation dinner banquet. So all the people that have been here, in some cases for over a week, putting up their displays, they're invited when they're finished to come out and have a drink and eat and hang out and relax for a little bit before the show opens up officially on Tuesday morning. And the entertainment that is provided is the reveal. So it's really cool. You got a mix of everybody there. There's exhibitors, there's media, you've got some car builders and everything else. And for whatever reason, they entrusted me to be the MC and the host of this thing and to kind of manage the flow. And I look at it, it kind of dawned on me the other night because I'm a slow learner. But, one of the things, like many of us, one of the things that I've always thought would be really fun to do would be to kind of host a variety show, right?
Yeah.
Johnny Carson, was the best, in my opinion. And what did he have? A variety show. He had a great band. He had great guests. He had an audience. Well, that's what the SEMA reveal is. And believe me, I'm no Johnny Carson. I'm not trying to say that.
But come on, man. There's only one Johnny, but then again, there's only one Kevin Ostie. So
that's
doing all right.
That's a good thing, because if there was a bunch of us running around, it would be bad. But so we have all the elements. We've got a great band that's on stage, and again, I get to kind of shepherd this thing through, and our entertainment is the band, but also the cars and the builders, and we got a great audience, and that's what it is. So it secretly has made one of my all-time bucket list kind of dream things come true, and it couldn't be cooler that it is at the biggest and best automotive event in the world in the aftermarket side. It's tremendous. So I'm very much looking forward to the reveal.
For sure. So the SEMA banquet, is that before or after the reveal?
The banquet, so this is, again, I lucked into that one too. The banquet is on Thursday night. It's coming up later in the week.
Oh, okay.
And the chronology of events this week is first the whole show, not open to the public, but kind of the first event is the SEMA reveal. So I get to be at the head of it there. Tuesday morning, before the show opens, is the new products awards banquet. And that is a breakfast. And
oh, right.
There is a system of voting for they're going to have over 3,000 new products on display here. And a great many of those are on in competition, if you will, to where they're put on display, and then people get to vote on them from the industry and choose which ones are the best new products throughout 16 different categories. And on Tuesday morning, they launched the show with this banquet that celebrates and presents awards to the top new products, 3 in each category. Which is really cool because a lot of people have been developing new stuff and trying to bring it to market, and all the new stuff comes out here. So that's a very fun event for me to be involved with. And this year we got a special guest. Jay Leno is going to be on stage, interviewed by a gentleman named Ken Gross, who used to be the curator at the Peterson Museum. Ken's a great automotive writer and historian. So we got both those guys on stage as entertainment, in addition to handing out those awards. So that's Tuesday morning. Right after that, from Tuesday through Friday, I'll be at the same spot I'm standing at right now, which is the SEMA Central stage area in the Grand Lobby. And that's going to be doing interviews and chatting with different industry notables and celebrities and stuff. I know Leno will be back here again, so I'll have some personal one-on-one interview time with him, and David Freiberger, and a lot of the builders and other notable celebrities from the automotive industry will be stopping by, and we'll be chatting with them. They changed the format on us a little bit this year, which is fun. It used to be, and you might have seen some videos that SEMA put out, it was basically 2 stools on a stage and people walking by in the background, and we would do this interview style. Well, this year they built almost a garage setting with like big storage containers and stuff, and the stage has 2 50s style vintage lounge chairs.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's time to kick back, right? It's great. So I'll be sitting back and chilling with a lot of our guests instead of sitting on the stool. It's a little less formal. So, again, now I get kind of a mini talk show that I get to sit there.
That's great, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's cool. And
It is. I love it.
The only thing that's missing is a desk, but it's kind of laid back. I guess Merv Griffin was more laid back than that. So,
all right.
That'll be all week, and then Thursday night is the industry awards banquet. So this is not product related. This is more people related and company related.
Okay.
And it's known as the SEMA banquet, and I'm co-hosting this year with Jared DeAnda, and it'll be a lot of fun. It's a big show. There's 3,500 people there, and the entertainment this year is the Blue Man Group. So they're going to be doing a lot of antics that they do throughout the show, and we recognize people like the SEMA Person of the Year, and also we recognize the Hall of Fame members this year that were inducted earlier, and recognize companies and different SEMA businesses. So that's a big deal. That, as Dave McClellan says, is the big show. So he hosted that for 40 years and change.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And never in my life did I think I would have the opportunity to step into that role. And this year, like I said, I'm sharing it with Jared, and Jared's been doing it for a few years. He did it with Jesse Combs. We had talked about that before.
Right.
So Jared and he's also working with me on the new products breakfast. So that's the rehearsal I just came out of, was hanging out with Jared and kind of going through some of that stuff. And he's great to work with. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool, man.
So that's the banquet, and then not done yet, another day Friday of SEMA Central, and Friday afternoon co-hosting the SEMA Cruise with Joe Sebregandio. Joe's a good friend and has been doing the SEMA Cruise for quite a long time. I did that last year, if you recall, and that's where all the vehicles leave the SEMA show and drive out of the building and go to the SEMA Ignited event, which is another crazy big show. And the SEMA Cruise to me is probably one of the most fun things that I get to do here. But it's also one of the most challenging because the stuff's coming at you and it's totally random. Could be a Porsche 356 Speedster followed by a 69 Camaro followed by a new Ford Raptor that's been done up as an off-road race truck and a lifted truck next, and here comes a Jeep. Because it's everything from the show, which is all markets of aftermarket styling and performance. So I make a lot of stuff up, is what that means on that one, for sure.
You're a good ad-libber. That's good.
Well, the internet tells you if you're a good ad-libber or not. And I don't know. Have we talked about the SEMA Cruise much on Viet Radio in the past?
Not a ton. I think we did mention. I think our last trivia question when you asked me what does CJ stand for the Jeep.
Yeah, right.
And when you were telling me how much you got roasted about how much you didn't know about Jeeps, as there's like nothing but Jeeps piling out through the SEMA Cruise.
Yes, well, that's still true. Yeah. Because we're looking at, again, I don't know, a couple thousand cars that are coming out of the show. All right, so from my vantage point right here, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different Jeeps, already right here.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
Yeah, well, and it makes perfect sense because the Jeep is such a great platform to customize. Right. It's a blank canvas when you buy it. Everything is available.
Oh, for sure.
So really all that means is this past year I had to do a lot of homework to learn more about the Jeep culture and lifted trucks. That's another one that's real huge here. The truck market's bigger than the Jeep market. So you get a lot of those, and I'll be good at, hopefully, at tap dancing and making stuff up as these things roll by.
Right on.
Yeah.
This also marks the 1-year anniversary of me walking into the SEMA Grand Central stage there and seeing one Kevin Ostie up there talking and looking at me and saying, "Is there anyone who is here at SEMA for the first time?" And as I hide behind Trevor, I get pointed at, "You, sir, you said this is your first time here at SEMA."
Yeah, right, I remember.
Why don't you come
that.
on up on stage and tell us what you think so far? I'm like, the man.
I remember it vividly. Yeah. Well, that was fun. And
that was really fun.
You were not a plant because it was your first year, right?
Correct.
And so in the morning, before the doors open at like 9, and they let people into the lobby at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock or something.
Right.
So you get a lot of people that are waiting, in anticipation to go in. And one of my functions that I'm tasked with is, providing information about the show and kind of counting down to when the doors open and all that stuff. And I thought it was always fun to pull somebody out of the crowd and chat with them for a minute, and you happen to be the unlucky victim at that very moment.
How about that? Right on. No, that was a good time. I appreciated that.
Well, hopefully enhancing your first-time SEMA experience of, getting called out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was good stuff.
Well, the show is bigger than it ever was. So you saw it last year. This year there's even more. And it's interesting because across the street from the Vegas Convention Center, they're building a whole additional convention center.
Are they really?
Yeah, and I learned from an Uber driver yesterday that the Las Vegas Convention Board, or the center at least here, they turned down between 35 and 40 additional conventions last year because they did not have the space.
Oh my gosh.
Can you believe that?
No, that's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And there's millions and millions of available square footage every day of the week, and they're all jammed. So I think they did an analysis and they said, well, how much are we losing by not being able to house these additional conventions? And it was something like, $1 trillion, some crazy amount of money. And they said, well, how much would it cost to build a new convention center? And they're like, it's going to be $250 million. And they're like, done. Start today.
Yeah, right. Get the earth movers now.
Right, get going. Yes.
I was saying, talk about the SEMA thrash that's going on over there. That's crazy. I mean, it's got to be everywhere with every builder, every vendor that's trying to set up, all the help trying to get everything in place.
It's really incredible. You hit all the nails on the heads. And Kelly and I went for breakfast this morning and drove around the backside of the convention center where there's a whole bunch of cars stacked up waiting to come in. And you look at the hundreds of show vehicles that are, just the logistics of getting things in and out. And then to think back, 2 clicks behind that, half of these probably were disassembled a week ago,
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny you should say that. I was watching, not to beat this whole Chip Foose thing up, but I happened to be watching a YouTube video from Foose Performance, or Foose Designs, and he's bringing a 69 LT4 Camaro as well as a 74 Jag E-Type out there this year. And
nice.
this video was published on Friday, and it ended with him saying, well, today's Friday, we have to get these cars to SEMA by Sunday. And he was standing next to this E-Type that was all painted a completely bare body shell.
Yep.
And it's got to be completed, assembled at the show by Sunday. And it was Friday. I mean, 2 days ago.
Right, that's correct. And the amazing thing about that is that E-Type, he was planning on unveiling that last year here at the SEMA reveal. And he had mentioned that in the interview, that they're waiting on Jaguar parts from overseas. And that's when I pointed out that, yes, even Chip Foose waits for parts.
Yeah, exactly. He brought that 57 Chevy instead.
Right. And he pointed out the math that these builders go through, and we've been there. I think we've done 10 SEMA cars over the years at this point. But and he might have mentioned it in the video that you just watched. I didn't see that one. But when he says, I've got 9 guys, and everybody can do a 10-hour day or an 8-hour day, and it's Friday, so that's 9 times 8, that's 72 hours, right? Over 3 days to get to Sunday, but we're going to work 24 hours a day. So, there's 250 hours or 300 hours left before that thing can go of man hours, and they take every one of them. And it's not because they intentionally pushed that deadline to the end. It's that you need to take every second you have to make this car or these cars or this booth display as nice as it can be to go on display here at the big show. So.
I mean, you might have something you think is done, look at it and say, that could be better, and you have to redo the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think what we find in our history of building cars for this show in particular is that the thing that holds you up is always out of sequence. So, for example, you got to put this one part on, and there's going to be 50 steps after that to get to the finish line. But that one part is the one you're waiting on. So everything else is in hold. So for example, you got to have the carpet to be able to put the seats in and the rest of the stuff. And the carpet is the one that got shipped to the wrong shop or something.
Sure. That makes sense.
It's rarely that you are still painting or fabricating or building something. I mean, usually everything's finished. It's just something's holding up the assembly when it gets to that point. And as you pointed out, that the Jaguar looked like it was painted and just needed to be put back together.
Yeah, but it really, painted a picture of what they go through to get these cars ready for this show, and how, like you said, they take every available minute afforded to them to do it. I mean, they're not sitting on this thing a month out saying, it's all done, we're good. I mean, they're probably polishing it up as it's going up into the ramp truck, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you're right. And so now you can understand the level of I guess how highly revered and respected this show is. This show is insanely important to businesses and builders, and everybody else. So when they call me and they say, "Hey, we need you to work this thing," I go, "Oh my gosh." But at least, I get that because I've been there. I've covered this show from a media standpoint, doing, booth interviews. We've had cars on display. I have not had an exhibit, so I have not done that part. Our shop has not displayed here because it takes quite a bit of resources to make that happen, and I don't sell parts, per se. And being an industry only, the whole purpose of this event is to connect manufacturers with buyers, sellers, and retailers so that those channels can be put in place so people like you and I that are consumers can eventually get our hands on these parts. So my business, where I fit in from a shop standpoint, is what we do. We build cars and work with manufacturers to get them on display here. Someday it'd be kind of neat, though, to be part of a team that does the booth display as well. I think that would be fun. But so it's a big deal, and that Jag, by the way, from what I've seen, is just over the top.
Oh, just the renderings that they showed of it looks so beautiful, so beautiful. It's a beautiful car in its own right from the factory, but from the foos touches he's done to it, it just looks just breathtaking.
Well, and that's a hard car to pick on because it is so nice. It's widely known as one of the best designs ever, and it takes somebody that's going to take a leap to be able to push the lines around and stretch things out and do what he did. But if anybody can pull it off, it's going to be Mr. Foos.
Yeah, he sure can. Yeah, I think that's going to be at the BASF booth. So if you see it, take a picture of it. I'd love to see the finished product.
Oh, there will be pictures, my friend. That's for sure. Right. I might not be the guy taking them, but that one's going to get photographed. But what's funny is I did see a little bit of backlash on that car, of course, because everybody's got their opinion. But he ended up running an LS motor in that and not the Jag V12. So I would like to ask him about that decision.
Well, he probably wants it to run. From what I understand, that V12 is pretty finicky. So.
Yeah. It would be. So here's my take. Believe me, I'm not Chip Foos, but our shop can make just about anything run. It's like that line from Apollo 13, the movie, where Jim Lovell is, and the Apollo 13 crew is concerned with being able to re-enter the atmosphere, and they show Jim Lovell's mom, and she said, "If you could get a washing machine to fly, my Jimmy could land it."
That's right.
That's how I feel about our team. If it is possible to run, we could make it run. And how cool would it be to make that V12 be a high-tech, fuel-injected, digitally ignited, machine with high-tech coatings and everything it needed to really sing, and knowing the Foos operation and the customer probably has the resources to finance an engine like that. To me, it seems like that could have happened, right?
I'm sure it could have. So, but maybe the owner has their reasons for wanting the LS in it, but maybe just for the fact that they could drive it, and if something breaks down, they could probably get the part at AutoZone for crying out loud, versus having to get it from England, if it's even available from England.
Well, that would be the only part on that car that you get at AutoZone is a
exactly
something from an LS. But you're right. If it's got, I don't know the specifics of what LS engine's going in it, but if it's a 5.3 or a 6-liter or an aluminum 6.2 or something, it's definitely going to outrun that 12-cylinder Jag.
But I wonder if that car, it'd be neat if that owner takes that car on the power tour after it's all done being displayed.
That would be fantastic. Just knowing how power tours can be tough on cars, coming from a guy who broke mine a million times on power tour. And I guess they just released the routes and the dates, right?
Yeah, they sure have. Yeah, June 7th through the 13th. Going through the heartland of America, from Norwalk all the way down to, or up to Madison, Wisconsin is where it ends up. And it's going to be in your backyard right at Gateway Park in the middle of it all.
Oh, right on. Do you have the specific list of cities in front of you? Because I've not seen it yet.
I do. June 7th, going to be at Norwalk at Summit Motorsports Park. June 8th at Montgomery City Fairgrounds in Dayton, Ohio. June 9th, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. June 10th, Gateway Park in St. Louis. June 11th, the State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois. June 12th, Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds in Davenport, Iowa. And the finale, June 13th, at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin.
Wow. So starting off 2 cities in Ohio, your home state.
Yeah. Dayton and Norwalk. Norwalk. Yeah. It's actually not far from where I grew up. About an hour and a half.
Norwalk, of course, is where the very first power tour I was ever on ended at Norwalk.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I've been to that track many times, covering NMCA races and power tours and stuff. So it's an interesting route. I've seen a lot of people. Now that you mentioned the cities, I haven't. This is the first I've seen of all the cities on the route, but I saw a lot of social media chatter about people saying, "What are we doing in the Midwest again with nothing?" Here we are, and it's like, well, I think because the thing is so big, it's venue limited. You don't have a lot of opportunities to just go wherever you want.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It is. I mean, literally thousands and thousands of cars trying to caravan, across the U.S. Who's going to hold them all? I mean, you have to have a giant parking lot.
Right.
I mean, you could probably go to, any baseball stadium or football stadium, if it's off season, depending on where you're going, anywhere in the U.S. But, I mean, that's not the only places you go. You want to go to like an automotive centric kind of a place. I mean, like in Norwalk, you want to do that. You want to go to Indianapolis,
right? So
to hold your event,
right? And
so I get that.
I guess they've been to baseball stadiums in the past. It's certainly in the very to use a bad pun, in the swing of the baseball season, though, in the beginning of June. I remember going to Arlington, Texas, to the stadium there.
No,
but it was only used as a parking lot. It's like, here's this great big parking lot and a baseball stadium that's closed. So that wasn't that spectacular of a location. But regardless, to me, it doesn't matter if it went to a cornfield somewhere. It is a tremendous event, and it's totally worth doing.
Yeah, agreed. Hopefully, it's a goal this year that maybe I can drive this big golden beast that's sitting behind me to a few of these stops.
Yeah, right on. Well, your parts are coming together. You're just I'm sure you're missing a few other things, but you're getting closer to the starting line.
I'm way closer than I was, a month ago. Way closer. Still need a few things to happen, but I think I can make it happen.
Well, our friends at ARP and at the Comp Performance Group are all here, and I will certainly tell them you said hello and that you're running all their stuff, and they'll be happy to hear
for
that.
Sure. Yeah, send my thanks to having these great products for me.
So we are at 7 months to Power Tour kickoff?
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah, it's November now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the Power Tour thrash begins now.
Yeah, that's it, man. We're talking about the SEMA thrash kind of ending right now. Well, let's start another one.
Yeah, why not? Keeps you healthy, keeps you vibrant.
Well, you and I had talked about how cool it would be, and our friend Paul, we mentioned in the previous show about Power Tour 2021 being an anniversary year for the 96 tour that started it all for me. I don't know. And since then, all 3 of our cars are still down. My Galaxy is still sitting there with broken transmission. But this week, I plan on talking with our friend Bruce Kuchar at Modern Driveline about that 5-speed swap.
Oh, sweet.
I'm really, that's looking to me more and more like something I definitely want to do. And I have 2 other, thoughts. There is things I always like to repurpose, right? So the Galaxy has a 4R70W electronic overdrive transmission, automatic, which is great, and it's hurt. and I'm going to pull that out. And I was thinking maybe I could sell that thing. But you know what I think I might do is actually get that thing fixed and maybe put it in my Buick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the 4R70W is a very capable transmission. They're rated at 700 foot-pounds from the factory.
Oh, perfect.
And I recently looked at a car for a customer of ours, a 69 Oldsmobile. It was a Hurst clone, but it had a 455 and a Ford AOD automatic transmission behind a 455 Oldsmobile. And I said, how the heck did you do that?
Huh.
And somebody makes an adapter bell housing to be able to put that Ford transmission. So I thought, well, heck, I've got the 4R70W, which has that same pattern. I already have a controller for it. Maybe it goes in the Buick.
That'd be pretty neat.
It's smaller than the 4L80 GM series as well. So
okay, should fit okay.
Yeah, it's got a turbo 400 in there now, but
right.
the Buick Riviera has an X frame, so anything we do has to be narrow enough to fit inside that frame.
Oh, right.
And my Galaxy, being a convertible, has an X frame. It's got a big brace in the middle, and it fits beautifully in that thing. So, maybe we just port that sucker over from one car to the next and put the manual in the Galaxy.
Cool. Yeah. Have overdrive in the Riv. That'd be great. Be a nice long hauler.
Yeah, and the W on the 4R70W part means wide ratio. So the first two gears are actually designed to get SUVs and trucks off the line faster, and that's exactly what the Riviera needs, is something a little bit numerically higher. So
cool, man. Yeah, I say do that. You have my blessing.
Yeah, so the Riv might be Power Tour 2020, the Galaxy, because I know how this is going to go. It's going to be like, well, I pulled the trans out, but I do want to change the fuel injection, and I do want to maybe change the seats out, and next thing you know, the whole thing's going to be apart. So.
Yeah, but your Galaxy has air conditioning, doesn't it?
Yeah, the top goes down.
Well, I mean, besides that, I mean, if it's 700 degrees out.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily want the sun on you.
Actually, the Galaxy does not have AC, and that's one of the things I wanted to add was an under dash unit, like a Vintage Air Mark IV, to be able to cool off going down the road. Because you're right, the trip gets hot, and that is a black interior car. So all it does is get hotter in the sunlight, and it doesn't matter if the top is up or down, but things get hot. So. That's part of the might as well syndrome. Got it apart, might as well put air in it.
Yeah, and I know your Riv doesn't have air either, does it?
No, so I have to resist the temptation on that one.
Yeah.
Although I did talk to our friends at Vintage Air about maybe doing that would be a Gen 4 system in that universal, because they don't make a kit for it.
Okay.
I don't know, there's always stuff to do, that.
Oh, boy, I do know that.
Was your GTO an air car originally? I don't remember.
Yeah, sure. It was factory air, factory power steering, manual brakes was the factory options on that.
That's right. Do you still have the air stuff for that thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's all intact. It worked the last time the car ran. The air worked.
Oh, right on. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is great. I didn't take the compressor off or anything when I took the engine out. It's still all in the engine bay, all intact, so I didn't want it to get dirty and, corrode or anything.
Right.
So.
Well, speaking of GTOs, so I'm standing here at the SEMA show, and pretty soon you, my friend, are going to be standing at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals in my stead.
That's right.
Doing interviews with notable car owners, and also pulling the cover off cars and presenting them. And one of those is going to be the blue 67 GTO that we're finishing up at our shop right now.
Oh man, I am stoked about this too, man. I've been studying and everything. I've been working on this, so
really?
I'll make you proud. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not worried about it. You're going to do a great job.
This is important to me. This is important, so I want to do well. So.
Well, I'm glad that you have an importance level on it, because that still is my favorite show to go to and be part of. Especially car show. I mean, SEMA I look at it as an industry show. It's a different animal than the McCacken show, the Muscle Car Corvette Nationals, because that is individuals bringing their cars on display, and it's not a trade thing.
Right. This is an enthusiast show, not a trade show. Yeah, all day long.
and the people are so great, and the cars are so awesome. And I've been to, I missed one. I missed the first one, as a matter of fact, but I've been there every year since. And this year I'm going to be out of the country, so I'm going to miss it. And I called Bob Ashton, who runs the show, and said, "Dude, I got a problem because I'm not going to be at the show, but I have a potential solution with Mr. Mike Huball Clark stepping in," and he was wide open to that. So I'm glad that you hate to leave somebody hanging, especially on a show that is that cool. So
Yeah, I appreciate Bob being receptive to that. That was very cool. So
yeah, and
you know, we've met Bob I've met Bob a few times, and we tried to do a show with him, but unfortunately we had technical difficulties and couldn't release it. But he's very gracious. Gave us an hour of his time when he's running around, like a crazy person trying to put out fires and get things done during the show. But he took the time to talk to us, so that was really nice. So.
Right, he's a great guy, and that whole management team of that event are all really great. They're very nice people.
Yeah.
They're real car guys. They understand. They're owners of cars. They're not just trying to promote some dog and pony show. This is really an enthusiast-based event. And it's going to be fun for you, totally, because Ben, our cameraman, will be there, but also, so Trevor and Tyler will be manning the GTO. They're going to be bringing it up. And then a lot of our crew guys are going. So Jeff the painter and Brett the fabricator and Tim the body man. These are all guys that built that car, and they're all going to be there. Which is awesome. So you guys are going to have a lot of fun. And
we are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're good guys too. I like all those guys. I mean, I saw them last time at Trevor's wedding, and we all had a great time. So it'll be terrific.
Yep, and there are more guys that are adding on to the list of participants as well. We threw it out there to them, that we would cover the trip if they wanted to go and help out and hang out. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really going to miss that show. So hopefully.
Well, you're going to be doing some cool stuff yourself, so I'm sure you're going to be focused on that. And I don't think you're going to have a whole lot of time to miss it. Maybe afterwards, but during your stint in the kingdom, you'll be very occupied.
That is probably an understatement, but you're right. And the cool thing though is that you and Ben are going to shoot some awesome video. Mm-hmm. And you shoot some interview some very cool people, and I get to watch all that. I get to be a consumer of V8 TV and Muscle Car of the Week media, having not been there to produce it. So that'll be fun.
That will be fun. I hope that I keep things up to your strict standards of performance.
You're making history. You're making V8 history right there, pal.
How about that?
Oh, that's fantastic. And our friend Dan Vasic, who is the chairman, if you will, of a post-sedan big block Chevrolet and GM display. If you've seen any of our Muscle Car of the Week videos, Dan has always been an interview with his displays. He's going to be there and was texting me saying, "Hey man, when are we going to do our interview? Because I got some great cars." And I told him that I'm not going to be there, but you're going to step in. And he's like, "Okay, see you later, whatever."
Oh, really? Oh, jeez.
So he's looking forward to getting close to you this time, because apparently I had a camera, so he liked me, but now I'm out and you're in.
Oh,
So,
I see. Okay.
So that has
I got you.
that has shifted. So yeah, the McCacken show is going to be great, and then interestingly, that weekend's going to be a lot of fun. And then the GTO gets delivered to its owner. The owner's going to be there, and it's the crew is all excited. We're doing an unveiling for the owner. We're going to cover the car up and pull the cover, and. You, I guess, are not only very active in that, but thank you for helping out with getting a crowd. I guess some of the Cruising Tigers GTO Club guys will be there.
Yeah, correct. I spoke with Paul Weinstein of the Cruising Tigers, who organizes the Cruising Tigers Indian Uprising show every year, and we're gonna get some club members out there to be part of that unveiling. So it's gonna be a real good moment for the owners. I
hope they like LS Power GTOs.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding, folks. Keep your pitchforks unlit.
Please extinguish your torches.
Yeah. No, this one's all Pontiac all the time, so I hope they dig the car.
Oh, how can you not? The thing is beautiful. I got my first good look at it at the the drive-in cruise
Yeah.
When you trailered it out there and put it on display, with the paint was all done, the interior was out of it, but it was running. It started, it ran and drove.
Yeah. Well,
but it was beautiful. Oof.
Thank you. Mike Best, one of our technicians who's doing a lot of the wrench work finishing that car up, described it interestingly. He said it's crisp, which I loved.
Ooh.
Because the
I do
trim
like
is
that.
real nice and the interior is very fresh. It's all new and very crisp. It's a great word to describe it.
That is a great word. Yeah.
We had a little
Yeah.
left turn on that thing last week. So this particular car, it's a 67 GTO 400, turbo 400, 4-barrel AC car originally, and it still has its original engine. And the engine was rebuilt in, I think, 1989,
Oh, wow.
but it had less than 1,000 miles on it. So the owner drove it and parked it and then had his life, and then it came to us to be restored. And the car, when it came to us, it looked like it came out of the bottom of a lake. I mean, it was a mess.
Yeah, a little bit.
We'll have pictures. I'm trying to get a signboard done so that people can see the before on this thing.
Cool.
And we inspected the engine. We took the pan off and pulled the heads and measured tolerances and just made sure that it was still pretty much happy. And then we just kind of cleaned it up and put it back together. And we ran it when it first arrived. Believe it or not, we were able to pour gas down the quadrijet and light it off, and it ran. And it ran well, so we thought, okay, we don't need to do any repair work on the engine. But last week, we took it for like one of its first drives. Windshield got put in and doing some driving and tuning. It's a Phi-Tech fuel injection system. We want to make sure that was all working properly. And it made some noise, and it sputtered, and it died.
Oh, no.
Bent push rod. And
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right? So
Oh, no.
upon further analysis, we found out that when the rebuild happened, long before us, 3 decades ago, somebody used a mismatch of guide plates. And,
Really?
And there were 3 of them that had a different part number on them, different stamping number. They were obviously made by a different company. And they had an inferior fit, and they wore away part of the push rod. The push rod was sliding up against them, up and down, and over time it put a notch in that push rod, which eventually, I guess the lifter pumped up enough, bringing the RPM up, and that notch caught the push rod guide plate and bent the rod.
Oof.
Yeah, but it did not cause any internal damage to the engine, and we were able to identify the remaining ones and replace those 3 bad guide plates with some, ones that were not
Some
messed
correct,
up.
good ones. Yeah.
And put it back together, and it's fine. So,
Oh,
was
good.
unexpected little pucker factor there, especially this close to the completion date and reveal of the car.
Yeah, no doubt. Funny you should mention that. Something similar happened to my GTO shortly after I took delivery of it. It started making a really awful mechanical noise, especially if you revved a little bit, and it sounded like it came from the valve train. And I popped the valve cover off, and one of the rockers had the tightening nut worked its way loose, and the rocker arm was loose, and in its looseness allowed the push rod to get bent and mangled up. And but luckily no real damage was done. I replaced the rocker arm, I replaced the push rod, and all was fine. And until I flattened the cam lobe, that is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then that.
and then that happened. Different cylinder, but still happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what does happen, and you can't really predict that stuff, especially if you're not the guy that put it together. And it's funny. Here's me saying, "Oh yeah, we bent that push rod so close to the show," and again being here at SEMA where things are happening. They're still tightening cars up today, and this thing is starting effectively tomorrow. So,
Yeah,
we've got a cushion.
But that's why you test drive these things and do what you do and make sure everything is right before the owner takes delivery of them. I mean, SEMA is kind of a different animal where you just need to get it off the truck into your display space. right?
Right,
And
yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe doesn't go on the SEMA cruise if it's not ready. You just pack up and split, and then you're able to really fine tune it and dial it in. So
Right. And we love to put time on them. You're right, because that's when these things shake loose or things break or whatever. But I'll tell you what. Recently, we sent home that orange Carousel Red 76 Trans Am that came to our shop that hadn't been running a long time, and we put a Holly Sniper fuel injection unit on it, and the new floors and some strange kind of context of repairs, a floor and fuel injection, whatever.
right.
But the owner, we didn't have many miles on that one. We did a health check on the engine, leak down compression, ran it, temperature was cool, everything was fine on it. And he flew in, I think we had 125 miles on that thing, and he drove it from the middle of the country, I believe, home to Connecticut.
You got to be kidding me.
Nope. And he, of course, we all sit there with our fingers crossed and praying he doesn't have any difficulties. When he got home, he contacted us and he said, "Hey, I got a question. Trevor said that I shouldn't really drive this thing over 75 or 80 miles an hour, but I did almost all the way home and I made it no problem. Is everything okay?" So,
gee whiz.
yeah, that was great. That even in a short period of test miles, we were still able to nail it, and the guy drove it home and made it safely. So that was a good one.
Yeah, I'm sure you're kind of hovering around the phone waiting for it to ring. Like, oh, I hope this guy makes it. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's got to be stressful, though. I mean, I know you're confident in your abilities and what the crew does, but still, that's a long drive on its maiden voyage.
It is, and yes, you got confidence in your ability, but you need confidence in the ability of the people that made the parts and anybody who did anything else to make sure that everything not only works and fits, but stays together. During they call them a shakedown for a reason. I mean, you're going over bumps and things are loosening, and who knows. So between that one, there's been a couple fun ones that we sent home. That we did an LS3 conversion in a Corvette, and he drove that thing 800 miles home, 750, something like that, and didn't have a hitch, and it was wonderful. The one that really, and we talked about this story in the past too, but the Comp Cam's Camaro was the one that kind of twisted me out of shape, because they drove that home from our shop to Memphis, which isn't that big of a drive, but they never called when they got there.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I remember when that happened.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
So they left at like,
that was...
they left our shop at like 11 in the morning, and here it is like 8:30 at night. We still haven't heard anything, and I finally get a hold of these guys, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, we made it. It's in the garage. It's fine. Yeah, thanks." And I'm like, "You guys were supposed to call me."
Sorry, Mom.
So we could breathe again. Yeah, exactly.
Right, no doubt.
But it was cool.
Oh, my goodness.
Again, I'm sure we would have heard something right away if it failed. That's the other thing. You don't want that call 10 minutes later saying, "Yeah, I'm on the side of the road and the transmission's 2 miles behind me," or something.
Yeah, that would not be ideal.
That is not, no.
Oh,
So,
man.
yeah, cool. Well, I'm very excited about your deal at McCacken, and looking forward to that. I will certainly get pictures of the Foose Jaguar as it is, and share them with you and put them on the Facebook page and everything else.
Appreciate that. How many SEMAs have you been to now?
This is my 23rd.
23rd.
Yeah. And for being so young, it's quite remarkable if you think about it.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, you're still in your 40s. You're 23rd. I mean, that's you're almost your entire automotive career. You've been going to SEMA.
Well, I've been trying to tell people I'm 27, but
so
it's not working.
Cat's out of the bag.
But you're right. I have done this show annually, repeatedly, more than I've done any one thing in my life.
It's amazing.
I've not worked at the same company that long. I've not lived in the same house that long. I've not, Kelly and I have been married for 15 years. This is the singular event that I've done more than anything else. You believe that?
That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's cool. Again, I'm just super fortunate to have gone from a guy, and I was thinking back to my first time, when I was working for Hot Rod Magazine and selling advertising in the Carcraft and Chevy High Performance, and walking in on that show floor for the first time. You know the experience. It blows your mind.
Yeah. It really does, man. It takes a minute to process everything. And even when you're all done, you got to think about what the heck just happened. And that was quite an experience.
And I never would have envisioned or imagined that I would be able to work for the event and contribute whatever it is that I contribute and be a part of the show and not just be an attendee. So that's the thing that I'm most grateful for. So it's pretty cool. I appreciate it tremendously.
Right on. And I know they know that you appreciate it, and I think that's a big reason why they keep having you back, and not only the job you do for them, but what you bring to the table. So good on you for that.
Well, today I brought a cup of coffee and I brought my laptop to do this podcast. That's what I brought.
And that's all we need right now, baby. That's all we need.
All right. Well, let's release the tension that is built up among our listeners about our trivia contest here. So,
right.
I'll let you go first because you posed your question first. What's the answer to the question?
All right, Kevin, I asked you about the SoCal Speedster, SoCal Special Lakester, the belly tank salt flat racer, and I asked you what type of aircraft the drop tank came from. And there were two acceptable answers to this question.
Oh, good. I got them both wrong.
Well, unfortunately, yeah, B-25 is not one of the acceptable answers. I would have accepted either from a P-51 Mustang.
Oh, really?
Or a P-38 Lightning.
So
the
fighter planes.
I'm sorry. Yeah. The P-51 was a smaller tank, and it propelled that first Lakester to about a record speed of about 131 miles an hour.
Nice.
Yeah, but the P-38 tank was a larger tank, was able to fit a larger engine in there, and it went faster. I think it went close to 200.
Wow.
But yeah, the P-38 or P-51 would have been acceptable answers. So there you go.
Well, that's a great question. A great piece of hot rod trivia that I should have known.
Now you do.
And I guess, logically, the smaller plane needed the capacity. So now that I think about this, you, my friend, provided me with a copy of Chuck Yeager's book.
Yes.
And he flew a P-51 Mustang, known as the Glamorous Glennis, of course.
Right.
And he talks about leaving the base in a European theater and flying to the area where they're going to go into dogfight combat and having to drop the tanks at that point before they engage. So that's why they had the tank, to get them where they needed to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, where was I an hour ago thinking about this?
How can I tell you? You were at the SEMA desk drinking your coffee, giving directions.
Answering questions. Hold on, I have another gentleman here. Yes, sir. Yes, you want to go right up the stairs, right behind us. There's a circular set of stairs, and there's some up there. Yep. All right, so I just had to give this gentleman directions to the washroom. So I found my calling here at SEMA.
You have a new job.
Yeah, because that one I knew the answer to.
Perfect.
Well, that was a great question.
Thanks.
A little aggravating when you almost know the answer, but
yeah,
it's all good.
Well, you know what? I've been trying to get away from questions like what year did this happen, or just some just crazy minutia stuff that you could stump anybody on, but I'm trying to move toward questions that actually kind of educate and kind of get people like, oh, that's cool, I didn't know that.
Yeah, right on. Well, that was a good one.
So,
all right, so to reciprocate with a piece of minutia,
all right.
How fast is the 2020 GT500? And you said it ran 10:33 in the quarter at 140 miles an hour, which is a rocket ship of a fast car. And you were very, very close. Evan Smith, Ford guy, and also magazine writer and web guy, and a guy that I used to kind of work with at one point. He piloted one just this past week to a 1061 at 133.21 miles an hour.
Ooh, I knew I was close.
Yes, 10.3 to 10.6. So you were super close, almost close enough to give it to you. This question came to me as I was getting my bag as I arrived here in Las Vegas, and I saw Mr. Evan Smith on the other side of the baggage carousel, and I went, yeah, I just read about his achievement, so that's where that came from.
Right on. See, you come up with these like on the fly. I researched this like a week ago trying to figure this out.
Really?
And trying to word it just right. My gosh.
Well, I mean, I'm
times.
fortunate enough to be around things, and I could look and see, and that's what triggers me to think of this stuff. Like right now, I'm looking at I'll give this one away, but I'm looking at a Top Fuel car because the NHRA is setting up their booth kind of right here in this hallway. And there's a great trivia question of how many NASCAR engines is the equivalent Top Fuel Hemi power-wise?
Oh, wow. I'd have to say about 25.
It's a lot. I think it's 7 or 8 easily.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, man. Well, that was a good question, and this is a fun show.
Yeah, this was a real great one. It's cool that we got to do this when you're on location at the SEMA show, getting everything set up. So really adds a cool dynamic to everything.
Well, yeah. As much as I enjoy doing this in the garage, we're starting to get cold. Are you cold up there in the garage? Or are you in the house?
No, actually, it was a nice day. It was about 50 today, so it's not too bad.
All right. Well, maybe next one. Maybe we'll get the recap from. Is it going to be McCacken time? Might be a recap of SEMA. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, if you enjoy listening to this nonsense, you can find us on iTunes and on Google Play, on Stitcher Radio, on iHeartRadio, on TuneIn Radio, on Podchaser, on Facebook, and our website, v8radio.com. Did I forget any?
Spotify.
I always forget Spotify.
Yeah. I got your back, Jack.
I think I always forget a different one, and you say it, and I say I always forget that one.
It's all right. I keep like railing them off in my head as you're railing them off. I'm like, okay, say this, say that.
If I was smart, I'd have a thing on my screen that would tell me this stuff, but never said I was.
Maybe. Well, we'll put it on the clock.
That's an innovation we can bring to our program.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. All right, my man. Well, this is a lot of fun. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon. I'll get your pictures, and we will catch all of you next time on V8 Radio.